Damn, I missed you all. Can't wait to get back on the air. February 2nd, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. The return of the Dan Bongino Show. Lovers, haters, friends, supporters, detractors, you're all welcome. Make that chat room fire. I want to hear it all. Rumble.com/Bongino, February 2nd, 10 a.m. Live. See you there.
Welcome into Nightly Scroll. I'm Hayley, Caronia, and it is Tuesday evening. Thank you for watching this evening, and thank you for joining me tonight. I always appreciate everyone in the chat. Rumble.com/Hayley is where you can join them. That'll bring you to the Bongino Report channel. Make sure that you are subscribed because you might be watching on X or on Facebook right now, and that's just a little clip. You're not going to be able to see scrolling time at the end of the show, and that is, well, I don't know if it's the best part of the show, but it's the part that I have the most fun doing. That's, Andy just pointed, this is his favorite part of the show, scrolling time. So before we get there, quick reminder to just subscribe wherever you watch the show. If you're watching on X or on Facebook, great. Follow, leave a nice comment. If you're watching on Rumble, of course, in the chat, make sure you hop in and say hello. I love to see everyone. Sometimes I check in before the show. But of course, the Bongino Report channel, make sure that you're subscribed so that you never miss one, because we're here Monday through Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, if you can't catch us live, that is A-OK. You can catch us on Spotify, iHeart, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your shows. Doesn't matter to me. Just make sure that you are subscribed, you tell a friend. All of that is much appreciated, so thank you. Unfortunately, Scott Adams, the creator of Dilbert, beloved podcaster, author, he has passed away from his battle with prostate cancer. May he rest in peace, and the show starts now. And back in May, he had announced that he had metastatic prostate cancer with only months to live. Yeah, very sad. And we've been following this journey with him, this process. Every morning he does his Coffee with Scott Adams, and giving us updates on that journey, that very difficult journey. And in recent months and days, he provided those updates on his health, being painfully honest about how he was doing, and yet still did his show, seemed to radiate positivity. And today, his ex-wife, Shelly Miles, announced on his show that he had lost that battle with prostate cancer. And she read a statement on the show from Adams that he had written. I think it was on January 1st. She said that he had written this. And this statement is what he said in part. Quote, "Many of my Christian friends have asked me to find Jesus before I go. I'm not a believer, but I have to admit the risk-reward calculation for doing so looks attractive, so here I go." He said, "I accept Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, and I look forward to spending an eternity with him. The part about me not being a believer should quickly be resolved. If I wake up in heaven, I won't need any more convincing than that, and I hope I'm still qualified for entry." He went on to talk about his career as a writer, but he ended this statement with this: "I had an amazing life. I gave it everything I had. And if you got any benefits from my work, I'm asking you to pay it forward as best as you can. That is the legacy I want. Be useful, and please know I loved you all till the end." It's so clear the impact that Scott had on other people. And he had such a great impact on, not only the conservative movement, but you could tell that he had so many people in his corner fighting for him, fighting alongside him. I always found him very comforting. I always liked to see him pop up on X. I liked his takes on a lot of things. And I don't know, he was just like I can't really find a better word for it. He was just like a comforting figure on my timeline. I always liked seeing his videos pop up. And, I think if you can't find anything nice to say about someone when they die, the best course of action is to just sit it out. Don't say anything. And People magazine couldn't do that. This was the headline that People went with this morning. Scott Adams, disgraced Dilbert creator, dies at 68. Disgraced. That is the word that People use to describe a dead man. A dead man that is so loved by so many, they had to go with the word disgraced. People is a disgrace for that. Truly. They have no shred of dignity. They have no shred of humanity, of empathy. This is someone who has friends and followers and family members who are absolutely devastated by his loss, by their loss and his death. And People They go with the word disgraced to describe that man for them. And then the New York Times. I saw Will Chamberlain posted this on X. It was the push notification that he got. He wrote, I cannot fully express the contempt I have for the New York Times. And, he responded to this guy, Wayne, on X. And this was the push notification that the New York Times put out. Breaking news. Scott Adams, whose comic strip Dilbert was a sensation until he made racist comments on his podcast, has died at 68. Really? Again, you have one sentence to tell people what's going on. One sentence. And any other time that anyone else dies, the push notification just says, so-and-so dead at blah, blah age. So-and-so loses battle to cancer, blah, blah. To say that with the left, there's always got to be this other qualifier. We saw this with Charlie Kirk. Well, I didn't agree with him, but, but he said this, he shouldn't have died, but there's always something else with them. They can't just say something nice and move on. They can't just leave it alone. And then someone posted this on X, just the hypocrisy with the Washington Post and how they've covered, the deaths of terrorists before versus how they covered the death of Scott Adams. Of course, we all remember the al-Baghdadi death, and they said, he was an austere religious scholar at the helm of Islamic State. He dies at 48. They just had to paint him in this positive light. This is a terrorist. He's the head of ISIS, and he's an austere religious scholar. Then versus Scott Adams, Dilbert creator who poked fun at bad bosses, dies at 68. Then here's the little subheader. His 3-panel comic strip was once published in more than 2,000 papers. Publishers cut ties with Mr. Adams after he made racist comments on a YouTube live stream. Isn't it interesting that they didn't mention that the ISIS leader, the terrorist, what he had done in his life, the bad things that he has done in his life? No. He's an austere religious scholar. Scott Adams, he was canceled for there's certain things that he said, which we'll get into in a moment. Just totally ridiculous. You cannot trust these people. Washington Post, I don't even know if this is their slogan anymore, but they say democracy dies in darkness. They never tell the truth. I mean, truly ever. They spin the truth, but they never tell the straight truth ever. It's always a spin. And certainly with the death of Scott Adams, they did exactly what they do best, and they spin it to fit their narrative. So, the man is dead, right? After battling cancer, but they have to do it for the clicks, right? They have to do it for the clicks, but they also have to feed their base, their rabid base, their rabid leftist base, what they want to see and hear too. This is what the left does. This is what the mainstream media does. I'm disappointed, but I'm not at all shocked. I can't even say I hope they do better next time. I know they won't. Anytime a conservative voice, influencer, podcaster, broadcaster, personality dies, it's never just conservative radio host dies at age blah, blah. It's never just that. That's how they would treat anybody else, anybody who didn't support Trump in their life. But when someone in the conservative world dies, it is an opportunity for the left to dance on their grave one last time. And they're excited to do so. We saw this with Rush Limbaugh, radio icon and legend. And, they are running headlines, controversial, racist, xenophobic, homophobic, radio host that said blah, 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 radio host that said blah, blah. Not just someone that was iconic in American politics and media. People are grieving this loss, but let's see what last minute digs we can dish out. We saw this with Herman Cain. I remember in 2020, he passed away with COVID, and he was at this, what the leftists in the media called the super spreader Trump rally that was in Oklahoma, I believe. It was in Tulsa. And a lot of people came down with COVID, and he passed away. And the left used his death to push their narrative. That's what they do. It's disgusting. It's their knee-jerk reaction when someone on our side of the aisle dies is to make a point out of it, to get clicks out of it, and to celebrate it, like we saw with Charlie Kirk, of course. Charlie Kirk, 31 years old, he gets assassinated, shot in the neck in front of the entire world. Videos of the horrific incident go viral on the internet, and people on the left are cheering it on. Cheering it on. Not only that, they're celebrating, they are dressing up for him for Halloween as a Halloween costume. Absolutely disgusting. They're wishing the death on other people. This is just to name a few examples. And now, of course, we see this with Scott Adams. And the mainstream media would like him to be remembered for being a target of cancel culture over these comments that he made in 2023. Listen.
So I realized, as you know, I've been identifying as black for a while, years now, because I like to be on the winning team. But as of today, I'm going to re-identify as white because I don't want to be a member of a hate group. I'd accidentally joined a hate group. So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me, according to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away.
Those are the comments that got him canceled. So I went to that show of his from 2023 today because I wanted to see and be reminded of these words that got him canceled, right? And these are just some of the comments that were left today on that episode. Dead as hell. Dead. Good riddance fascist. Rip bozo. Heard you got cancer. Rest in urine. Rest in piss. Another one. Wow, this pompous racist guy was really a jerk. Glad all those newspapers canceled him. I mean, it's amazing that those words that we just heard, that was the reason that people dropped Dilbert. It's amazing that, reacting to a poll is something that, changed his life forever. And, he was reading statistics that black people don't think it's okay for people to be white. He went on, after that video that we just played, he went on in that show to bring up comments that Don Lemon made about living in a white neighborhood because it's safer, and how living in a predominantly white neighborhood versus a predominantly black neighborhood for Don Lemon was a different experience. So Scott Adams reacting to a poll, he didn't say it. He even said that in that clip. I didn't say this. This isn't what I'm saying. This is what the poll says. And then he's, hearkening back to comments that Don Lemon had made in the past. And those were the comments that he got canceled for. Canceled by the woke mob, and the woke mob rejoice. The woke mob, the cancel culture mob, they want to see people's careers end. They want to see people lose money. They want to see people crumble and bend the knee to them, cower away, and back down from their beliefs. And Scott never did that. Sure, Dilbert was cut from thousands of newspapers, but to the people who knew Scott and followed him and enjoyed him, they will not remember him for how he was treated by the cancel culture mob. They will remember him for how he handled that situation, how he came back from it. They will remember him for his coffee chats and other insights that made him a fixture in this space. The cancel culture mob and angry commenters and the mainstream media, they will be remembered for the hate they spread. But Scott will be remembered as a patriot who never backed down, never shied away from the truth, and he will be sorely missed. So I just wanted to say rest in peace. Obviously, his family, friends, loved ones, followers, even the people that didn't know him, people are grieving, and they're all in my prayers. I want to get to another total mainstream media fail. They're very distasteful when it comes to death, their coverage of death, their coverage of widow Erica Kirk as well. So this was a headline from the Washington Post, and they wrote a column saying this: Erica Kirk, a mother to two toddlers, continues to take on a public-facing leadership duties while promoting traditional ideas about prioritizing marriage and motherhood. Here's how her clothes are attempting to walk the same line. What does that even mean? So you click into that article, and the headline that they have is Erica Kirk is walking a fine line in a glittering pantsuit. Then it says Erica Kirk's outfits say to take her seriously, but not as a career woman. What? I want to read you a little bit from this piece, okay? Quote from the Washington Post. As Kirk's face appeared on more and more screens, on CBS, on Fox, on podcasts and panels, two common refrains have emerged among observers. While you're on this publicity tour, who's parenting your kids? And why is that suit so sparkly? They're not unrelated, those two inquiries. Kirk, a mother of two toddlers, continues to take on a public-facing leadership duties while promoting traditional ideas about prioritizing marriage and motherhood, and her clothes are attempting to walk the same high wire. Kirk didn't respond to the interview request. I can't imagine why. She has bigger fish to fry than to make comments about her glittery jacket. But her styling of late suggests she's aware that she now needs to be able to blend into mainstream secular political context well enough to be taken seriously, but not so well as to be mistaken for a career woman or a feminist. I can guarantee you Erica Kirk is not thinking about any of these things when she gets up every day. I can guarantee you. Guaranteed. She walks into her closet. She picks out items that she likes to wear, feels good in. It's amazing that she's probably getting up, getting her kids ready amidst all of this grief, right? They're basically shocked that she's not wearing either an ugly pantsuit because she wants to set herself apart from, the Kamala Harrises and Hillary Clintons of the world. You know why Erica Kirk dresses the way that she does? Probably because she likes fashion. She was a model. She was a pageant girl. It's not shocking that she likes bows and glitter and girly things, right? She likes it. That's really it. And it's so funny how many beautiful women are part of the conservative movement. And we always say, it's such a shame that, the First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump, she's gorgeous. She's the most fashionable and gorgeous First Lady we've had maybe ever, if not the most fashionable since Jackie O, right? It's such a shame that Melania Trump isn't on the cover of Vogue. Meanwhile, they highlight Dr. Jill and Michelle and AOC and Kamala Harris, and they'll put Kamala Harris on the cover of fashion magazines wearing Converse sneakers in a ugly pantsuit. Not because it's actually fashionable, but because they want to desperately make them beautiful, fashionable, popular it girls. There's really no reason to put Kamala Harris in sneakers on the cover of Vogue. They just did it because she's Kamala Harris and she's a leftist and, she's pro-abortion. So they want all the women that read Vogue, I guess, to go vote for her. And they do the same with whoever else, AOC, whoever's running, whoever needs the attention from the left. I mean, this is why they're put on these fashion magazines, not because they're pretty, not because they're fashionable or any of that. So whenever a conservative woman does anything, the fashion magazines either look away or they point and laugh. Those are the two options. It's never cover this person who's objectively beautiful and fashionable. It's make fun of them or try to not see that Melania Trump is the most gorgeous, fashionable First Lady of all time. That's what they're doing. Every time Melania steps out, she's got her Louboutins on. She's got the most perfect outfit on, gorgeous. They're like, sorry, we didn't see that. And normally feminists would say, why are we talking about her clothes or her husband? Talk about her accomplishments. And then when it comes to conservative women like Erica Kirk, they don't want to touch on her accomplishments or any of that. It's all about tearing down her husband, painting them as, controlling, horrible people. They do this all the time. And the left talks about body positivity and loving yourself and, fat is beautiful and all that stuff. But they don't actually believe it. And then we see what Vanity Fair did to all of the members of the cabinet, but certainly Caroline Leavitt got one of the worst edits in that piece. You remember that, right? The close-up photo of her face, and you could see every pore and every blemish and every injection site, right? And she probably got lip filler because she's been bullied online, or maybe she just wanted to. And the left makes fun of her for it. Meanwhile, they praise anyone else on their side of the aisle that does anything to change their appearance. Or they, celebrate people who are ugly. Then you see what, just happened with Erica Kirk. She's a grieving widow. So therefore, according to the media, I guess she should look disheveled and wear black forever and lose her sense of girly fashion, like lose that sense of herself. The world watched Erica Kirk lose her husband. And I'm sure every day she has to fight to not lose herself too. Why would she lose the part of herself that enjoys bows and frills and glitter? Yes, she's a mother. Yes, she's a business owner. Yes, she wears glittery jackets. Why can't she do it all? She can. And they seem shocked that conservatives who push this traditional gender role thing can live in the modern world. I'm 31. I'm very grateful that I have a career that I'm proud of. I got started in this in college. I had 4 or 5 internships. I absolutely loved it. I grinded. I've worked at many different networks for successful people. And, I've talked to the president and checked him in for interviews and met him before for sit-down interviews. And I've been out on the street doing man on the street coverage. I'm so proud of the career that I built. And where would I be right now if I didn't do that? I don't know. And that doesn't make me any less conservative, right? It doesn't make me any less of a woman. I still believe that marriage and motherhood, they're beautiful and wonderful and something that young people should strive for. I can tell people that I think marriage and motherhood are wonderful. You should do this. Just because it didn't happen for me or I don't have that right now doesn't mean I don't approve it or support of it or want to encourage other people to do that. And Erica Kirk is an authority on this topic. She is an authority on doing it all and making it all work. She has it all. Degrees, successful career. She's a business owner. She's obviously had a wonderful, happy marriage that got cut short. And to her marriage to Charlie was more important than anything else. But the left wants people like Erica to shut up when they're talking about that kind of an experience because it negates their narrative. Conservatives really are the new feminists. In a weird, twisted way, we're the ones fighting for women to have it all. We're the ones fighting for the unborn. We're the ones fighting for women to have safe and private spaces to compete in. Liberals only want women to be a certain type of way and not to stray from the box that they've put them in. Have a septum piercing, have green hair, be a loudmouth, get in the way of ICE agents. Like that is the box that women are supposed to be in now, according to the left. And we say that you could do whatever you want, right? But it doesn't hurt to look good doing it. And the left and the fashion magazines and the mainstream media, they hate that. They absolutely hate that. Taking a quick break to tell you about our sponsors for tonight's show. First up is Helix. Winter's here. I'm spending more time indoors, especially in the bedroom. And I am staying comfortable, and that's never been easier since I switched to a Helix mattress. Before Helix, my nights were rough, night sweats, back pain. It's exhausting. Then I took Helix's sleep quiz, and it matched me with the perfect mattress. No guesswork, no stress, and since then, my sleep has been completely transformed. I wake up refreshed, and honestly, a good night's rest makes all the difference. Helix is award-winning. It ships free in the United States and offers a 120-night sleep trial plus a lifetime guarantee. And if you're not happy, they're happy with Helix Guarantee, makes returns easy. Are you ready to upgrade your sleep? Head to helixsleep.com/Hayley. That is Hayley for 20% off site-wide. That is helixsleep.com/Hayley for 20% off site-wide. And make sure you enter Nightly Scroll, the show name, at checkout so they know that I sent you. Again, that is helixsleep.com/Hayley. Also want to tell you about Shopify. It is a new year, a fresh start. January is here, and it's the perfect time to stop dreaming and start doing. If you've been sitting on that business idea, 2026 is the year you rewrite your story and your own future. The most powerful move is to launch your business with Shopify. Shopify gives you everything you need to sell online and in person. Millions of entrepreneurs have already made the leap. And with Shopify, building your dream store is easy. Choose from hundreds of beautiful templates and customize them to match your brand. Setup is fast with built-in AI tools that write product descriptions, headlines, even help edit photos. Marketing is built in. Create email and social campaigns that reach customers wherever they scroll. And as you grow, Shopify grows with you. Handle more orders, expand to new markets, all from one dashboard. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/scroll. Go to shopify.com/scroll. That's shopify.com/scroll. Hear your first this new year with Shopify by your side. All right, well, I saw Casey Anthony's name in the headlines for the first time in a while. And actually, I think I saw her name in the headlines when I was living in Nashville. So this has got to be maybe a year and a half ago. And, you know, Casey Anthony, all that happened in Florida, right? Orlando. And she moved to Nashville with a new boyfriend, which is totally crazy. To think that someone would date her, you know? Yeah. I mean, it just seems to me like she's not the girl you want to take home to mom. Hey, mom, I'm dating this new girl. Oh, what's her name? Casey. You leave the last part out. But anyway, I thought it was interesting. She has this boyfriend. She moved to Nashville, or like the Nashville area. And she also said that she wanted to give people legal advice. This is something that Casey Anthony, I guess she's trying to reinvent herself, or maybe use her experience with the Justice Department to help others. I don't know why anyone would want to hear from her, but she has a Substack, and I don't know who's paying for this or what, but this is what she wrote in response to Vice President Vance's comments about what was happening in Minneapolis with the ICE agent and Renee Good. And those comments that he said when he was at the podium at the White House briefing room, he said, you know, he was standing with the ICE agent. We all saw the video, right? And it's crazy that people can see this same video, all these angles, and come up with different, you know, conclusions. But Vice President Vance firmly stood with ICE. And this is what Casey Anthony had to say on her Substack, apparently. Quote, "There is no such thing as a federal law enforcement officer having immunity because it's convenient for you and this administration. This applies to your Gestapo agents in ICE. This crime needs to be investigated as all other officer-involved crimes need to be investigated in our country. Release the reports. Release the body camera footage if there is any. Hold this man accountable as you would if the woman he shot in cold blood would have fired upon him or anyone else. We will not be blindly led astray by your lies and manipulation of the facts," she added. "We are watching. We are holding our government officials accountable. We are holding our federal law enforcement agents accountable. This is the 9th shooting since September. Where is the justice these victims and their families deserve? You swore an oath to uphold the laws of the United States Constitution. We hold you to that oath." If Vice President Vance decides to run for office in 2028, there is really no better campaign slogan for him than "Casey Anthony doesn't like me." Casey Anthony hates me. The most hated woman in America hates me. That is a badge of honor that he should wear. And Casey is so delusional, thinking that anyone in the world would want to hear what she has to say about anything, let alone what's legal or illegal. And if you're taking legal advice from Casey Anthony, I wouldn't consider her a trustworthy source of information whatsoever. I would not trust her viewpoint on crime scene footage, for example, either. And I would not want her legal advice. I wouldn't want her anywhere near the cause I'm promoting. I can't imagine, you know, leftists are thrilled that Casey Anthony is on their side, but it does track since they don't value human life and they support killing fully formed babies. So I'm just happy that she's not on our side. Y'all liberals can have her. Yeah, Casey Anthony, you can have her. We don't want her. I also want to get into the Ashley St. Clair drama. I kind of teased that I was going to cover it yesterday, and then we didn't get to it, and we decided to go with scrolling time rather than the Ashley St. Clair stuff. So we'll get into it. Just for context, Ashley St. Clair is Elon Musk's, I think, 14th baby mama, which is wild. He's getting really busy. Imagine all of the women that he hasn't impregnated, you know? Yeah, it's crazy. 14 baby mamas. Anyway, one of them, his last one that we know of, is Ashley St. Clair. I think if Elon Musk had another baby with someone else, I think he would maybe do his darndest to keep it quiet, because he did try to keep it quiet with Ashley St. Clair for a while, but then she couldn't help herself because, she was so obsessed with letting people know that, she was top dog. She got Elon Musk to give her a rocket baby, as she was saying. So I think she was dying inside knowing that she had Elon Musk's baby and she couldn't tell anyone. So she had to blurt it out. I remember she had, I think it was the New York Post come over and do this expose on her about how she wanted privacy for herself and for her kid. It's a really weird way to ask for privacy, if you ask me. The glamorous photos sitting in her penthouse apartment, super fancy. Leave us alone. Leave us alone after you read this expose. That's who we're dealing with, right? So Ashley St. Clair, she asks for privacy, does the opposite. She gets on X. She's constantly, airing her grievances about Elon Musk and their custody battles and whatnot, and I'm not getting enough money and blah, blah, blah. So here's the latest, right? Ashley posted this on X. Can someone explain to me how a 0.26% of the population potentially playing women's sports is a threat worthy of executive order from the president, but the Twitter Mecha Hitler robot that makes child sexual abuse material and distributes it publicly is not? And she is airing her grievance about Grok that apparently took a photo of her and sexualized it in some way. We were talking about this the other day on the show, that Grok is freaked out a little bit. So, it doesn't shock me that Elon Musk's AI bot is freaked out, but it is, right? If you ask Grok to make this person naked or whatever, it'll do it. I don't agree with that, but it is what it is, right? So then she's talking about, she's kind of like flip-flopping on this stance on trans issues, and someone on X called her out for this. So this is what they said, because it's like, okay, you used to be this conservative grifter, and now you're kind of going back on that. You're saying that President Trump having an executive order about trans issues is not important or whatever. So this person, onion person on X, posted this. You've previously engaged in blatant transphobia. How do you feel about trans people in the wake of noticing how the far right truly is? Okay. So then Ashley St. Clair responds to this. I feel immense guilt for my role, and even more guilt that things I have said in the past may have caused my son's sister more pain. She's referring to Elon Musk's son, I think, who's now a trans woman. She continues, I don't really know how to make amends for many of these things, but I have been trying incredibly hard privately to learn and advocate for those within the trans community that I've hurt. I've also haven't said much on this because I've gone back and forth over whether my voice would be helpful on the issue, since it will be framed as disingenuous or just turning because I'm scorned. Well, that's exactly what it looks like. And then she said, even this reply will become right-wing hysteria, but yeah, I am sorry. Let me know how I can help. Help? What does she mean help? How can you help? What is there to help? How can Ashley St. Clair, former right-wing Twitter grifter, help the trans community? Seriously, what is she going to do? How can you help? What does the trans community need help with? They're constantly talking about visibility and access and all this stuff. I've never seen more trans people in my freaking life. They're more visible than ever. They've got access to everything, all the drugs and whatever. I don't know what more they need, truly, except for help to rid themselves of this dysphoria. But whatever. I don't know how Ashley St. Clair thinks she's going to help this community, but God bless. So oddly enough, she wrote a book called Elephants Are Not Birds. And it's a children's book. And it's a children's book that is teaching children that basically men are men and women are women and one can't be the other, and to, love yourself and the body that you were given. So then an update earlier today, Ashley St. Clair says that she has since had her name removed as the author of this book. She posted this. In effort to make amends, and in the best interest of all parties, my name will be removed as author of Elephants Are Not Birds, effective immediately. The book's already been printed. I can't imagine it's flying off the shelves anymore. I can't imagine that they're printing more copies, but maybe they are. I don't know. So her name's off the book. That doesn't mean that she didn't write it. That doesn't mean you can't go back, right? We all know that she has flip-flopped on this issue for some reason, but she claims that she wrote that book before motherhood. Now that she's a mother and, she's changed, she's more left-wing now that she's a mother. So let's pull this up. This is a screenshot, or is this a video? It's a video of her TikTok account where she's saying that she's leftist. She's lip syncing to a song, but I'll tell you what she says. Am I going crazy? When you start to sound far left in private and you don't know if it's spite, your prefrontal cortex being radicalized. Can you pull it up again so I can read it? Am I going crazy? Being radicalized by motherhood, paying for health insurance, or the rich. I have legitimately no idea what she means by half of that. What do you mean the rich? What do you mean health insurance? You're radicalized by these things? Okay. How does someone become more left-wing after becoming a mother? Because I know, just in speaking to my good friends who are mothers, whether they are really politically aligned one way or another or not, I have some friends that kind of just stay out of it altogether. I've had conversations with friends who say, I am more pro-life now than I ever have been after giving birth and being pregnant. I mean, how do you go through that process and not understand that you're growing a human life, and cutting that life short is nothing short of murder? I mean, that is murder, right? And this is someone who's, I'm talking to a friend who's not involved in politics and doesn't really care one way or another or whatever. Motherhood radicalizes people to the right. All my friends, they say they're way more involved in, the issues of education and things impacting the family and all this because they have a new priority. Their priority is no longer themselves. Their priority is their children, their family, making sure that they're safe, right? I mean, we've seen this with Riley Gaines, who is obviously an advocate for women before being a mother, but she says that now that she's a mother to a baby girl, she is more radicalized than ever. She has more gusto going into these speeches and all of this because she has a little one to fight for now. It's all the more important to her, and it's given her a new perspective. So I don't know how someone can have a child and become more to the left. I mean, I guess it's possible, but it just seems to me that, the trans issue specifically is one of the easiest to take a stance on, that men are men and women are women, and men cannot be women and vice versa. Women cannot be men. That is, if you cannot agree on those notions, we cannot agree on anything else. Truly. You can't take hormones and become the opposite sex. You can take hormones or other drugs, gender, whatever they call them, gender affirming care. You can take these things and maybe sort of look like the opposite sex, but in many cases, they just look like this really weird, androgynous, you don't even know what they are kind of a thing. You don't know which way they're going. You know that they're in a transition period. That's why they call them trans, right? They never really get to their destination. But they can try to become the other with medical intervention and big pharma and chemical castration, but they will never become the other. These are just truths. It's this forever journey of being stuck in a biological sex purgatory. I don't understand how a woman, a mother, can be for that. How do you give birth to a son and think, well, he can be a woman one day? He can't. You know that. You gave birth to a boy. So I want to know why Ashley St. Clair is doing this. And you can tell me in the comments or in the chat what you think this is all about. Is it to get Elon's attention? It worked. She posted this too. Now she's getting in on this Nazi rhetoric from the left. We see them calling, Donald Trump Hitler. Everyone in his inner circle is a Nazi, the Gestapo, all this stuff, right? And certainly Elon Musk. Was that at there was a Trump rally during the campaign at, I think it was Madison Square Garden. Is that the one where Elon Musk, everyone was freaking out because he did people were like, oh, he's a Nazi because he's doing this hand salute or whatever. So anyway, we could pull up this X post of hers. Anyway, follow me on Instagram, she says. Then she says, and don't post pictures of yourself or family here. on X, she's referring to, unless you want Twitter to tell you that sexual abuse content from its Nazi robot isn't a violation of its terms of service. So she's a stickler about this issue, which I don't blame her. I've said I don't really agree with the grok sexualization of certain photos. But she did get the attention of Elon Musk. She was complaining that her X account, she had lost her blue check mark. They took away her Twitter premium. Then it was back. Then she lost it again. So anyway, then I guess after all the tweeting, all the storm that she has caused, Elon Musk did see all of this and respond, saying this yesterday: I will be filing for full custody today, given her statements implying she might transition a 1-year-old boy. You know, I don't think she would actually do that. I don't think that she would go that far. I think if you are someone, like, can someone be that much of a grifter? Can you be that much of a liar to write a book about, you know, these trans issues? It's lunacy. And then, you know, go and trans your own kid. I don't think she would go that far. I truly think this is for attention. But when you don't stand for anything except for what's advantageous in this very moment, it's very telling that all she really cares about is money. And she used to brag to her friends about, you know, Elon Musk following her and her plans to have his rocket babies. So she finally got it. She put her, you know, conservative influencer hat on long enough to impress him, to win him over, I guess, to get in bed with him. Yuck. It's all gross. And then, you know, obviously Elon is mad at her. Things go sideways. She just has to grift now to the left because leftists hate Elon Musk because they have that in common now. So now she's probably hoping that she can make money off of the left. And it's super sad to watch, just the fall from grace. I used to like following her. You know, I thought she said some funny things, but now it's just, I mean, how do you trust anything that this person says? They can be swayed in one way or another. It just seems like at a drop of a hat, she could just be a leftist, right-wing, leftist, right-wing. Can't trust them. Anyway, I want to talk about this new autism Barbie. Barbie, Mattel, has come out with Barbie dolls that represent different disabilities or chronic illnesses, including type 1 diabetes, blindness even. And if you think about it, you know, all Barbies really are made in solidarity with the blind community because no Barbie dolls can see either. But, you know, the blind Barbie has a cane that came out last year, and now they have unveiled a new autistic Barbie doll. So this is what the press release says. Barbie introduces the first autistic Barbie doll, championing representation for children through play. And by the looks of the Barbie doll, she looks normal because, you know, dolls don't really talk or move. Like, you can't tell that the Barbie doll is autistic. So they had to add certain things to the doll. And if you showed me this Barbie doll and didn't tell me that it was autistic, I would have no idea. But they said that to the Barbie doll's body, the Barbie doll features elbow and wrist articulation, enabling stimming, hand flapping, and other hand gestures that some members of the autistic community use to process sensory information or express excitement. I would also like to point out, you know, maybe an uncomfortable truth that I don't think that children who are that autistic are going to be playing with a Barbie doll and like making their hands do certain hand motions to match their own autistic hand motions. Like, I think this is maybe a little complex. Is that a crazy thing to say? I just don't think that these kids are going to be using these dolls or even really understand in some, depending on how autistic they are, how severe they are on the spectrum. Some of these kids aren't going to understand it. And Barbie put out a video promoting this autistic Barbie, and a lot of the like spokespeople that they had were adults. They were adults talking about Barbie and what this representation means to them. They also say that the doll has a different eye gaze that is shifted slightly to the side, which reflects how some members of the autistic community may avoid direct eye contact. The autistic Barbie doll also comes with a pink finger clip fidget spinner noise-canceling headphones, and a tablet. The fidget spinner is, supposed to be a sensory outlet that can help reduce stress and improve focus. Then the headphones are a fashionable accessory that reduces sensory overload by blocking out background noise. And then the tablet is a screen that serves as a tool to help with everyday communication. And then apparently this dress is autistic person friendly. It's loose fitting, and it has short sleeves and a flowy skirt that provides less fabric to skin contact. So these are all of the ways that Mattel thinks that this Barbie is appealing to the autistic community. And it's all make-believe. It is all make-believe. Any single Barbie, the Barbies that I grew up with, if I want them to be autistic, they can be autistic. You can have your regular Barbie be autistic if you want. You can use your imagination, and your Barbie doll can really be anything. And most of the time, the clothes and accessories, for me, in my experience playing with Barbie dolls as a kid, they're so hard to put on the Barbies that most of my dolls spent their days fully naked. They were fully in the nude because it was too difficult to put the clothes on them. So my Barbie dolls were always naked. So you can buy, an autistic Barbie doll, but it's only a matter of time before, she becomes a stripper. My Barbie dolls were always nude. Always nude. So this is what I'm saying. It's all in your imagination. Whatever you want this Barbie doll to be, it will be. It's just ridiculous. Let's talk about this Trader Joe's thing. On the topic of capitalism, we've been wanting to talk about this story for a while. I just find it very interesting. So Trader Joe's is a popular grocery store chain here in the United States, and we don't really have one too close to us, which is a bummer for me because I do but I'm not driving all the way there to get groceries. That's crazy. Anyway.
Jasmine does. Not to call her out, but definitely to call her out.
Well, I would like to drive, 5 minutes to get groceries, not an hour.
Absolutely.
But I do love Trader Joe's, and I used to shop there in Nashville and also in New York. Love Trader Joe's. I feel like their produce is cheap. The people who work there are very friendly, the cashiers and everything. So I'm a fan, right? Now, Trader Joe's sells canvas tote bags because obviously in the state of the world that we live in right now, in the United States, plastic is the enemy, right? There's nothing worse than a plastic grocery bag. We're not allowed to do that. If you live in New York, those are banned. New Jersey, those are banned, right? No plastic anywhere. So Trader Joe's, among other grocery store brands, provide canvas tote bags that are for purchase so that it's supposed to be reusable. You buy this bag and then you bring it back. That is your grocery bag. And Trader Joe's bags have unintentionally become this international status symbol. So here's the headline. Trader Joe's $3 tote bags are selling for up to $50,000 overseas. So these Trader Joe's bags, they're kind of like the LL Bean bag where it's a canvas tote with an embroidered logo on it. They're being resold on eBay, Depop, and other, secondhand markets for up to $50,000, some $10,000 and in between there. That's not to say that people are buying them at $50,000, but people are listing them for $50,000. But people might be buying them for $50. That's crazy. A canvas Trader Joe's tote bag for $50. So apparently these are being seen on the streets. All the fashionistas are wearing Trader Joe's bags in London, in Tokyo, Melbourne, because no Trader Joe's exists there. So it's become this status symbol, like I've been to the United States and I have been to a Trader Joe's, therefore I'm better than you. And all I want to say on this is proof of American exceptionalism. Can you think of a foreign brand that we would wear here that we can't get here? No, because we can get everything here. We live in the United States. I cannot think of a brand in any European country that I would see someone wearing that and think, oh, that's so cool. That is so rare. I gotta have it and I can't have it. You just wouldn't see this. You would not see this. Can you guys think of anything like that? I can't. There's just Americans are cool. We're the trendsetters, and everyone wants to be us. That's the name of the game. That's it. Let's get into scrolling time. Work stuff, because this is kind of in line with scrolling time. I've got a lot of TikTok videos to show you on this. So first up, can you pull up number 15 for me, please? The headline about the Starbucks. So apparently there was a Starbucks worker that has been now fired because they served a LA sheriff coffee. So the deputy went through the drive-thru of Starbucks. They got their coffee, and Starbucks is now doing what, what's the brand? They like write little notes on your cups and coffee. What is that? Why am I like not thinking straight? Maybe it's Starbucks. I think Starbucks is copying someone else. There's another brand that people like write little notes on your stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's Chick-fil-A or something. I don't remember. No, I don't remember. I don't know. I'm going crazy. Anyway, Starbucks worker is writing little doodles and little notes like good morning and all this stuff on the Starbucks cup. And they drew a pig. And this is the photo, and it's a photo of a pig, and it says decline or accept on his hands. Like you have two options, is to take the call or not take the call, right? Now, at first glance, right, this is a pig drawing going to a sheriff deputy in California. So when I saw this headline at first, I said, and before I saw the picture of the pig, I thought, well, of course, this is an anti-cop thing. It's a leftist, libtard barista, and they saw the cop coming, drew the pig, handed it off. Tale as old as time, right? Then I saw that it's John Pork. So that pig is John Pork. If we could pull up that photo of John Pork, it says John Pork is calling, and there's the decline and the accept, right? This is a meme that has been going on for years online, on TikTok specifically. Do you guys know anything about John Pork? Have you seen this? They're shaking their head. They haven't seen this. Now, I am chronically online, so allow me to attempt to explain to you this John Pork meme. People would take that photo, that AI photo of a pig, and they would prank people in their family to, older people in their family that might not know that it's a prank or might not know that it's AI or photoshopped or whatever. They would have this photo come up and prank them to say, oh, John Pork is calling you. You have to pick up. And there's all this lore about John Pork, and he was killed by Tim Cheese and all this stuff. I can't even really explain all of it because it doesn't matter. But just know that this is an internet joke, long-standing internet joke. Yes, it is a pig. It has nothing to do with like pig cops, anything like that. Like no law enforcement hate undertones. This is like a completely unrelated pig joke. And let's play video 2, number 18, if you wouldn't mind. This is a guy, younger guy, pranking his grandparents with John Pork calling.
I didn't give this John Pork my phone number. I don't give my phone number out to strangers. That guy that was on the wall in our pictures, how in the world did that happen?
Who are you talking to?
It's that Pork thing. How did he get my number?
I want to know why he's calling you.
Well, why would he have my number? I don't know how he would get my number. I don't give my number to anybody. Well, what am I supposed to do? It's creepy.
I think he's still calling you.
Tell him to get lost.
Yeah, but I think he's just an ugly man. I don't really think he's a pig. I think he's just ugly.
He's a man of all, like other men. He's calling you.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Have you talked to him before?
The grandpa thinks that she's cheating with John Pork.
I don't even know how this was there somebody in here when you had somebody for the office come and see you?
Someone in the chat said, I'm 70 and I'm not that stupid. Listen, if you're watching this show, I know that you're not that stupid to get pranked by this. And again, if you could pull up the photo of John Pork with the accept decline, like most people would know that this is not a real human being. But, whatever. This is, again, just to show you that this is an internet joke. People are getting pranked by it. So then pull up the picture of the cup. This is exactly what the Starbucks barista was trying to emulate, the John Pork with the accept decline phone call, okay? So now knowing that context, I feel bad for the Starbucks worker that got fired. I do. And maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but this is such a stupid mistake. Like, they're drawing a stupid little pig. And if you didn't know what John Pork was and you got that on your cup, you'd be like, well, this is stupid, right? You just go about your day. Unfortunately, the barista handed it to a sheriff. Did they do that on purpose? Maybe, but John Pork has nothing to do with cops or any anti-cop narrative. So unless there's proof that the Starbucks barista handed it purposely to the cop, which there won't be, and they would never admit to it anyway, I genuinely do believe that this is supposed to be a meme and supposed to be a joke, and it was unfortunate that they got handed it, that it was handed to a cop. But someone in the chat says shit happens. I tend to agree. Someone else in the chat said they deserve to get fired. Stupid thing to do. I don't know. Starbucks is now having people doodle on the cups. They doodled a meme on the cup. Like, I don't think that they should be fired for that. I don't. I think it's just like a whole stupid mix up. And I don't know. People are just a little too soft these days. What's next? Let's do this number 20. This mom is getting involved. We've seen this. These moms, these white liberal Karens, they are getting involved with ICE agents and their efforts, and it's stupid, right? It could cost you your life. And this woman brought her child in the back seat with her. Watch this.
Hey, back up.
I'm far enough away. I'm not influencing anything.
Do you live on this street?
I don't. No.
Okay, I need you to get in your.
No, I won't.
Ma'am, I need you to leave.
It's my right to be here.
You need to back up out of the
I
way.
will
Right,
not.
this is one of our cars as well. You were too close right now. You were interfering.
I'm right here.
Federal
You're
investigation.
going to get out of my face.
You need
I'm
to
a
back
public
up over
citizen.
here.
No, I won't. Tell me
You need
why
to
I'm
back up
far
this
enough
way.
away from your
You need to
investigation.
back up this way.
Step beyond our cars.
Ma'am,
Don't touch me,
ma'am,
please.
have
Beyond
somebody
our
Don't.
cars.
Where's your cars?
right here.
Where's
You
your
need to go
cars?
all the way
Oh,
this
that's
way.
great.
Ma'am, you need to go all the
That's
way
great.
this way.
Sure. I'll be on your cars. 20 feet, right?
See that white car?
I have a 6-year-old right here. I have a 6-year-old right here in my car.
Child in the car?
Oh,
Yeah, I
child
sure did.
endangerment.
Yes,
Yeah.
child endangerment.
Get your child off of the scene. This is an active police scene.
It's an
This is all on camera right now too. Right here.
Yes, I'm wonderful. I'm very glad
Get
for
your
it.
child out of here. You
I
are
can
an
be right
active
here.
police scene.
I'm
Are you
happy right here.
serious?
Ma'am, listen to me. You have the right to videotape. Okay?
I do. Thank you,
Hang on,
sir.
listen to me right now.
I'm going to listen.
But we have someone that's being detained right here. Okay. Mm-hmm. You have a.
Tell me
child
where
in the
you
front
need
seat.
me to go
Hang on,
exactly.
I need you to stay. Do me a favor.
Yeah,
In the front
I will.
seat with no car seat. Okay. Do me a favor. You can videotape all you like, but
Sure.
you have to stay. You cannot come past that driveway.
Perfect.
Okay.
I'll be right back. Thank
Okay?
you.
Thank you. Stay at your car though. Okay.
Thank
You're
you.
more than welcome to videotape.
Thank you,
Okay?
sir.
But do me a favor. By state law, we're policemen too. That child is supposed to be in a booster seat. He's not of age.
Oh.
So make sure you put him in a booster
Great.
seat, because I'd hate to give you a ticket.
You can give me a ticket. I'd love it.
That's a real FAFO moment at the end there. Because a lot of these leftists, they like to say, oh, well, ICE agents, they're not real cops and blah, blah, blah. And this cop, he had the wherewithal to say, you shouldn't even have your kid here. And you should have your kid in a booster seat. You know, if you see any ICE agents or any other kind of law enforcement activity, who in their right mind gets closer? Who pulls up closer to film? You know? I have all the respect for law enforcement in the world, but if I see shit going down over there, I'm gone. I'm going the other way. It's not about me. And unfortunately, we have, these leftists online that are seeing some infographic on Instagram, and these people are being told that the best way that they can get involved and make their communities better and a safer place and to help is to apparently stalk ICE and film their every move and harass them while they're at it. And the fact that they have zero regard for their children in all of this is wild. Absolutely wild. Why you would put yourself in harm's way is just, why you would put yourself in harm's way as a mother is stupid. Why you would put yourself in harm's way with your child in the back seat is another thing. This woman is actively bringing her child to a police. They're serving a warrant. This is active police activity. Why? For what? And she's yelling at the cops. What a horrible example to set for her child. And I don't know if the child's old enough to really understand what's going on. I sure hope they're not. Start them young. Start that contempt for authority and law enforcement young. I can't wait to see how that generation shapes up, the generation that's being raised by white liberal Karens. Can't wait. On that note, I have a lot of things left to cover tomorrow, which I'm excited about. We've got a wedding, a spontaneous wedding that happened on a Southwest airline flight. I can't wait to cover that tomorrow. So anyway, leaving you with that little teaser, you can follow me on social media at Hayley Caronia. That's HayleyCaronia on X, Instagram, Truth Social, TikTok, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Bye.